The city of Oakland has named its new police chief. It is Floyd Mitchell, who was most recently the police chief in Lubbock, Texas. Joining me now to talk about it is Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao. Thanks for being here today. Tell us why Floyd Mitchell was the right person for the job.
Absolutely. So Chief Floyd Mitchell, he's a strong leader and he's very smart on crime fighting. But most importantly, he can deliver results. And that is what I'm looking for in a proven leader. He also has a strong grasp of proven crime reduction strategies, such as our strategy ceasefire, including he's very proactive at policing and hold a strong value when it comes to having strong officer and community engagement. And so for all of these reasons, he rose to the top of the list for me.
It does seem like a little bit of a jump to go from Lubbock, Texas to Oakland, California. Can you tell us how his experience is going to relate?
Absolutely. So when he was actually in Temple and Lubbock as the chiefs in both of those cities, we saw that under his leadership, that overall crime did decrease and police response times did improve. And to your point, these cities are a lot different than Oakland. However, he was not actually born out of these different cities. He was actually born out of the department in Kansas City, Missouri. And we know that in Kansas City, the population is probably double ours. And so he's not it's not a new thing to come into a large city. Of course, just like with any chief, whether they have experience here or in other large city, we're going to support him and we're going to have a lot of support internally. He is the missing puzzle piece to my comprehensive approach to public safety. We have our fire chief, Damon Covington, that I swore in. We have our chief of Department of Violence Prevention, Dr. Holly Joshi. Of course, Justin Johnson, our city administrator, and then myself in this office. And so all those puzzle pieces are together now, and we're ready. We're ready to ensure that Oaklanders remain safe, and not just that, but feel safe.
Okay, and I have to ask, a quick Google search on Floyd Mitchell shows there was some concern about how 911 calls were handled when he was the chief of Lubbock, Texas. Do you have any concerns about that? I know that we've had delayed response times with our 911 calls.
You know, Oakland is finally on the right track. Of course, there's still much more to be done, but we are on the right track in regards to improving our 911 system. So you know that this was one of the very first questions that I directed at him. Just a direct question around the reason why. And I'll be honest, I was actually very impressed with his response. He didn't make any excuses, but instead, he talked about what he learned from that experience. And with that being said, and I want him to speak with his own words come next week, but I know that he'll be able to take that experience and only add on to and strengthen Oakland's own systems here. And he also understands the importance of ensuring that we keep our staffing levels high. Right. When I came in, half of those positions were vacant, but we are at a level now where every single one of those seats are almost filled. And so we're excited for him to come on board to really lead the department, and not just that, but add his experiences.
Okay, talking about staffing, I know that the city is facing a huge budget deficit right now. So a lot of questions about how that could affect police staffing in the future, police resources, and if that could have any impact on some of the progress we've made in reducing crime.
Right. And I want to also make sure that people know that, we have a renewal of the Measure Z. So I know that folks are collecting signatures out there, and that is going to actually help us support the police department. It is all about funding for our public safety arms. And with that being said, we are in a large deficit, right? This is a result of the pandemic. And we're not seeing the city come back the way that we would hope. However, with that being said, we're going to continue to march on and ensure that whatever resources we are working with, that we are delivering at an efficient, and not just efficient, but effective pace in every single area.
One of the priorities for the police department is try to get out from under this federal oversight. How will the new chief try to accomplish that?
This is something that I've also asked all candidates about when they were applying for this position. And at the end of the day, we're going to continue to have an accountable police department. And this is something that I demand of the next chief. And it is a conversation that I had a really thorough conversation with Chief Mitchell before bringing him on to the team. And I know that he is up for the job and he will rise to the occasion to ensure that we continue to have accountable policing and that, we are so close to ending this federal oversight, and we're hopeful that he can lead us closer to closing this process out.
Any specific strategy there?
There are multiple different strategies, that it also includes, working closely with the police commission over policy, also includes civilizing, the internal investigation unit from the police department. And so there are different arms that need to be in place, but they can't be in place if we don't have our permanent chief. And so we're really excited that we have the permanent chief.
Yeah, and you talked about this being the missing puzzle piece. Of course, we were without a chief for more than a year. Do you think that had any effect on the crime rates in Oakland?
I would have to say no, in the sense that, we have Chief Darren Ellison, who has over 20 years in the police department. And so he was actually the steady hand to guide that ship while we're going through this leadership transition. And so I would be remiss if I didn't thank him. And I thank him so much. And we all should thank him. He himself and myself, we did not know that we were going to be in this process for over a year. And of course, I have strong feelings about how the process panned out. But with that being said, we saw that crimes were rising since 2019, before I even took office. And so that's why I did the audit. The audit really showed that it was the same reasons that we had in 2012 of the why is there such high crimes was the same reasons that we have today. And so this is why we resurrected Operation Ceasefire. The ceasefire strategy is fully operationalized, and we are already seeing the fruits of that labor. Overall crime in the city is trending downward, and it is the demand of my office that when the chief comes in, that continues to happen.
All right, and you mentioned he is down with the Operation Ceasefire.
Yes, yes.
Okay, very good. Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao, we look forward to hearing more from him, as you mentioned in his own words, next week.
Yes, absolutely. Next week on Wednesday.
Okay, very good. Thanks for joining us today.